Alrighty, so hey, everybody out there in listening world, Spotify, RSS. This is Sanguine Sundays. This is just a bit of an offshoot from our Deadhaus Whispers thing. Less Deadhousey, more just casual, talky horror stuff, horror, art, books, anything really.
Anything for the darkly inclined.
Yes, of course, Faceless Mike and me, Calypso, as usual, with this. And yeah, I guess, I guess our topics for today are going to be Faceless Mike over on his Instagram and his Twitter and everything. He usually does, who's your favorite Revenant, or who's your favorite Lich, or who's your favorite White.
It's almost like I'm going through all the classes.
Almost. For Deadhaus Sonata. So I figure because this is a bit of an offshoot or a spinoff of our Deadhaus Whispers podcast, we're going to start with that, of who your favorite Lich, White, or Revenant is. And then we'll casually go into something else. I just recently finished Mändoon.
Yeah, I was watching you do that. I
YouTube.
was still trying to figure out how you pronounce it.
Yeah. So recently finished that, and it falls into the whole games. Personally, for me, it falls into games are art as a category or as a debate or a topic.
Oh, definitely.
So we might end up talking about that. Do you think games are art? Are all games art, or only specific ones considered art? Depending, are like porn games or like all the shitty like hentai games on Steam, are those technically art? Stuff like that. So yeah. Sanguine Sundays. I'm Calypso, Faceless Mike usually, and so I guess we're gonna start off with who's your favorite Revenant? Who's your favorite Revenant, Mike?
Oh, Revenant. Oh, such a tough decision. But based off, okay, so like I made a little picture. We'll go to these in that order. So I made a little picture, and I done who's your favorite Revenant. My picture includes Jason Voorhees, Scorpion. It's got Eric Draven from The Crow. It's got Freddy from Friday the 13th. It's got our Lord and Savior Nagaztak from Deadhaus Sonata. And it's got Candyman from the Candyman, the actual original Candyman, the good Candyman, not the new thing that's been brought out. I cannot say that anymore or I'm in trouble. But yeah, right. Hats off. No joke. Straight to the hip. Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees.
I've always been a Jason Voorhees fan. I don't know why. And one of my dreams come true when years ago we were involved with like setting up and running a horror convention in Ireland. I got to meet Kane Hodder and Larry Lehman, cool. And they're both awesome. But just like meeting Kane and like getting to spend a bit of time with this guy and chatting with him, I was like, oh man, I'm hanging out with Jason Voorhees. This is awesome. So yeah, like that was probably one of the only times in my life I ever squeed and fangirled out. By the same token, like that's at the same convention with Tony Todd. Absolute legend of a guy, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. But Jason, I just love Jason as a character.
Yeah, I like Jason as a character too, even though I've never seen all the Friday the 13th movies.
You don't need to. They kind of get a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, they kind of do their own thing.
They literally go to space.
I will say, yes, Jason X, or whatever. I think it's called Jason X, the one in space. That's probably one of my favorite ones.
There's an old trope, that the horror movies go to crap when they go to space.
Oh yeah. I mean, Hellraiser went to space in like one of the very last ones, right?
No, it was just the fourth. Well, technically, it's the last one that was actual Hellraiser movies. All the movies after that were like other movies that they just kind of crowbarred Pinhead into, so that they could say it's a Hellraiser movie. Yeah, to keep the rights. That's it.
Yeah.
Go
on. Let's see. I love Jason X, the one in space, and then I think the first one, because the first Friday the 13th has that big twist. Ending, and for like a 40-year-old 50-year-old movie or whatever now, spoilers, it's his mom in the ending of the first one. Just posing it, which is nuts, bonkers, love it, fantastic.
That's one of those trivia quiz questions, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like, what was the first movie to star Jason Voorhees? And everyone's like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. Like, nope, Friday the 13th part 2.
Yeah. Would you consider, I can't even remember his name anymore, Michael Myers from the Halloween movies a Revenant?
Yes. Yeah, well, yes and no. For the lore-wise canon, yes. The only reason I'd argue a no is, when did he die? That's the debatable
Yeah, good point.
argument.
Because revenants have to die. So, and
But
does he die?
he could have died in that mental institution and came back, and they mightn't have known. Like,
Yeah,
or, like God knows what happened. Like maybe he was
yeah.
actually shot dead on his way out the door, and he just got up and kept going. Like,
I can't
you know.
remember. Is it in have you seen the Rob Zombie like remakes?
Yeah, really
What
like
did
them.
you think?
A lot of people hated them. I like them because I think it's because of the exact reason a lot of people hated them. I liked the backstory to Michael. I liked seeing Michael as a kid. I liked seeing that like this guy was really messed up. So even from a child, he didn't stand a chance. So
Yeah,
clearly he was going to turn into some monster. A lot of people didn't like that. They preferred the mystery. They like the Blair Witch scenario of, it's better to not see it.
yeah,
When he gets older and he's Michael, I think Rob is really great with special effects. I like how his directing style, he's very kind of grimy, grotty, kind of. Basically, he
yeah,
brings to the screen the aesthetic that he has created in his music and his shows over the years. Although I am still a little bit spiteful because I had tickets to go see him in Ireland once and he cancelled.
Oh, dude, I'm so
So
mad. I had a chance
I'm
to see
I'm
Zombie
I'm
live and I never did either.
I'm a little peeved over that, and he didn't get an explanation. He's just like, well, look, we just had to do it. Didn't
Yeah,
apologize, nothing. It's like, oh well. And so a little spiteful on that, but no, I do. I like his movies, like House of a Thousand Corpses and all. I do think he done good by Friday the 13th, but I'm not a massive Michael fan. I was always more Team Jason. I know there's a lot of people who are Team Michael. Were kind of pissed about it.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I loved the zombie movies. As seeing as how like the only Halloween movie I've seen is the first one and the zombie movies, because like I can't remember. Maybe I've seen the third one too. Like I don't do like slash movies very much anyway. But I do like them, and I think zombie. I've always liked zombies directing style, and I loved the ending. I loved like how it's kind of ambiguous of an ending of damn, sorry. I love how it's kind of an ambiguous ending for his movies. Like, is it really over? Is he dead? Is he like, what's going on in his head? What's with the white room and like his mom or the horse and stuff like that? Like, is he an
Yeah.
embodiment of death itself? Stuff like that. I think that's cool. But I think my other favorite Revenant, or mine anyway, is I gotta give it to Eric Draven or Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Definitely, if we were just to go off these pictures here, because like The Crow is such a legendary movie.
Iconic.
It's such a legendary, iconic movie, and I do like some of the sequels, but I mean, there's only really one Crow movie.
Well, I like the fact that they didn't try to do the stupid crap of like bring Eric back. They did
Yeah,
try to experiment. So when they done like Crow City of Angels, and then
I
they've
like
done
that
another
one.
one, so that like they were going with James O'Barr's original vision of each series is a different Crow, because it's a different Revenant and stuff like that, which is a really cool idea. I just think they were kind of executed a little poorly.
Yeah, yeah. I loved City of Angels. I think Crow 1 and City of Angels are my favorites. I think the rest kind of go off the rails, but they're cheesy movies, the rest of them. And then I loved the series. Do you remember the Crow television series?
Oh yes.
Like that
To
was such a
start
good
crying
series.
Freeman, your man.
Yeah, I loved that series growing up. It was fucking great. I loved it. I thought
You're
each
lucky
episode was really good.
you're lucky you weren't old enough to play the PlayStation game. Oh my God, that was
Oh
appalling.
yeah, no, I never. I've seen it, but I will never play it. I heard
Oh,
bad things
oh,
about it.
that was from back in the day when it's like, there's a movie coming out in 3 months. Quick, make a video game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
shade on the developers, because like I've learned over the years, a lot of the time it's not their fault. Like someone comes into them and is going, "You have 3 months to make the video game. Go." It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, the story of E.T. is
Yeah,
an infamous one. How the guy I
that
think literally
poor
only had
guy.
like a month or something to make an E.T. video game or whatever, and he did it all himself. and he drove himself nuts with it, and I feel so
The
bad for
fact
that
that he
guy.
physically finished the game, like the game is appalling, but the fact that
Yes.
he even finished it is a monumental testament to what that guy done. And
Yeah.
he done it
Yeah.
like with no story, with no information, just we're doing a video game for ET. Here's the picture. Okay, what way do you want to do it? I don't know. You make it up. It's like
Yeah,
what?
exactly, exactly. So like, I mean, for the technology of the time, like he banged out something, playable, even though it's a terrible game. But the
But the
fact that he did it, it's a
Yeah, the
physical
fact that
feat.
it physically worked, like he finished a game that like technically you could play, like that alone in like that short of space of time is monumental.
Yeah, yeah, and it's fantastic. It's
And
fantastic.
on to poor Scorpion, Hanzo, huh?
Yeah, no, I
Legendary,
love
another
Scorpion
legendary
too.
character.
Yeah,
He's
I
my
love
go-to
Scorpion
guy, by
too.
the way.
Yeah, no, mine too, mine too. I love how in the beginning of like the Mortal Kombat universe or history, there was no story, and it was literally just
Yeah,
here's a tournament with a bunch of fighters, and here it is. And then they managed to craft awesome like ninja rival story thing with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I think that's awesome. I think
that's
it's
totally
so
a
awesome.
matter of, okay, we've got some cool after the fact storytelling. Let's write it in. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, screw it. I'll buy into it. I'll come with you.
yeah,
I'll come with you on this
exactly.
journey. Although I can say nothing. Like I have an arcade one up of Mortal Kombat right behind me here. So like
Hmm.
it is my favorite series. I grew up, most of my friends are like, oh, I love Street Fighter. It's like, no, I was always more Mortal Kombat.
There's a picture of me from when I was younger where I'm in an arcade. I'm barely tall enough to reach the cabinet controls. So I moved a
Oh,
chair. I moved a chair to the top of the arcade so I could pick it up, and it's a Mortal Kombat cabinet. And there I am as a wee one playing, not playing, but like thinking I am or whatever because I'm a kid.
yeah.
With like just playing Mortal Kombat on a cabinet, just mashing buttons and moving the sticks or whatever, and just like watching the dudes go. And
Oh,
if I find it, I might make that the thumbnail.
oh,
But
that would
yeah,
be
like
legendary, dude.
yeah, if
That'd
I
be
find it.
awesome.
But that was, I think Mortal Kombat is my favorite fighting series out of it because it was my first one. It was literally the first one that I played
It
as
was
a baby.
just so cheese. It was everything the 80s and 90s were and more. I think that's
Yes.
why I loved it so much. Because, like you said, it's like story. Wizard has a tournament.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. I'm in. Sold. Play as a ninja.
Hmm.
Kick the crap out of the other guy. Got it. I just
Like
love that idea.
no, me too. I think it's a testament. Mortal Kombat is definitely a testament of time and video games in general that it can last for 20 friggin' years and have a billion games out and a billion spin-offs and some really really good console versions. Surprisingly, there was a really good like Kung Lao and like the monks or whatever. Do you remember the one that was like for PS2 or
Yeah,
Xbox or whatever? And it was
Shaolin
like
monks. Yep.
Shaolin monks. Yeah, great fucking game. Great game. Thank you, Mortal Kombat. And the animated series was really good. There was
Okay,
a
now
really
that I will give you,
short-lived.
that was great. I
Yes,
love
the
that.
animated
That was
series was really good
amazing.
for what they did. There was really short-lived live action TV series. If you remember that, also, like man, Mortal Kombat has gone places. Has gone places. And then we got the movie recently, which I enjoyed. I know a lot of people like griped about it, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, here's where I'm going to get in trouble. I still haven't got to see that yet.
What? Okay, you
Yeah.
gotta watch it, dude. It's an hour. It's like literally an hour and 20 minutes of your
Dude,
life.
I'm afraid to watch it.
Why?
I seen in the trailer what I think might be Reptile, and I got worried.
Oh yeah, Reptile's in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but did they turn him into an alligator?
Yes, it's a reptile
Oh,
alligator. It's alligator reptile.
oh,
And it's like his
oh,
beast form or
dude.
something. It's better
Oh,
than hey, it's better than Annihilation, okay? It's
well,
better than
that's
what they
not
did with Mortal
hard.
Kombat Annihilation.
Annihilation was absolutely appalling. Although I will stand to that testament, right?
Hmm.
I've had this argument over the years, and people are like, "Oh, what's the best video game movie?" It's like, well, it's not Super Mario.
Oh yeah,
Although
no.
I watched that with my son a little while ago, because like we do movie nights, and we're like we were picking movies, and that was one of the options because I'd selected a load of stuff, right? And it's like, I
Yeah.
want to watch that. I'm like, it's bad, you know. He's like, I know, that's why I need to see it.
Oh my
So it's
gosh.
like we went through that, but I will stand to that testament. Up until recently, because recently you might be able to make certain arguments. But I stand that Mortal Kombat was one of the best video game movies made up until of recent times. And that is purely not just because it was complete schlock, but it is almost perfectly accurate to its source material.
Yes, I agree. The first Mortal Kombat is a fantastic video game movie. It still is. It's still out of the whole
It's a
list
cheap
of
fighting game movie, which anyone that grew up in the late 80s, early 90s knows that was most of our cinema back then. Cheesy
yes.
fighting movies.
Um oh man, and then you have Street Fighter, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh,
I will die on this hill that the Mortal Kombat, the first one, I'd even say the recent one too. That one, the first Tomb Raider film with Angelina Jolie, um, and I'm even I'll even say Super Mario Brothers to an extent are like good video game. Oh, and Prince of Persia, the Prince of Persia from 2010, are good
what
video
about
game
Assassin's Creed?
movies. Assassin's Creed has parts where it's wow, this is pretty damn good, but then they ruin it with a bunch of bullshit, just like the video games where it has a modern day setting that nobody asked for and nobody cares for.
I've barely been able to watch that.
Man, the parts where it's in the past and they're doing the whole Assassin's Creed thing of Assassin's Creed is really good. It's really good. And then the rest of it is fucking modern day segment bullshit that nobody cares
Ugh,
about,
just
and they
don't.
should never
Have you
have
seen
done it. I mean, I get it.
Have you seen Monster Hunter?
Um oh yeah, I forgot about that movie. No, I haven't. I
Don't,
forgot it existed.
don't. I
Yeah,
love
I hear it's
Monster
bad.
Hunter. It's terrible. But I was just thinking, why did I say until recently with Mortal Kombat? I remember, for me, the Sonic movie set a new
Oh
standard
yeah, and
because
the Sonic movie.
that was amazing. We're like, oh, but it's not. No, that is the perfect video game movie. It's watchable by adults. It's watchable by kids. It stays relatively as close to, if there's such a thing as Sonic canon. Careful, we're going to get a ton of hate for this now because of Mike's
Mm-hmm.
ignorance of not knowing the extended Sonic universe. But considering I
Mm-hmm.
grew up with Sonic, he was my little mascot rather than, Mario. I was a little
Yeah.
Sega boy. But that is a great movie, and I actually look forward to the sequel. It's really good. That, and I think Detective Pikachu, I think were two amazing video game movies that
Oh,
were recent.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I would like another Detective Pikachu or I mean we're already getting another Sonic movie. That's already happening. But I would love another Detective Pikachu or another Pokemon
Funny,
movie.
funny story. I don't know how true this is, but I read this online and it's quoted as like a fact. But I read that there is no Professor Oak in those games or in those movies, and there won't be because I think it was Iwata, someone at Nintendo, promised Robin Williams that he would get the chance to play Professor Oak, and if they couldn't get him as Professor Oak, they won't have anyone as Professor Oak.
Mm, yeah, I believe
And
that.
I could see that, so like maybe if they do another one, they'll just skip Oak and go to one of the other professors instead,
Hmm.
which I could see. But
Hmm.
that's a funny little fact, isn't it? That like Robin Williams is such a big fan of it that like he was egging
Yeah.
for that. I would have loved to have seen it, Robin Williams play Professor Oak.
Oh, me too. I think one of my favorite um it's as I wouldn't really call it an Easter egg or like homage or nod or like a love letter to Robin Williams is in Breath of the Wild. There's a character that pretty much is Robin Williams in that game
Yeah,
in Breath of the Wild, and it's because he was such a massive Zelda fan that he named his daughter after Zelda.
yeah.
Like I think that's
And
really cool,
she
and that's
she is an
heartwarming.
absolute legend. And you Muppets,
Hmm.
stop harassing her on Twitter. She's lovely and
Yes,
she's really funny.
I love her Twitter. She's amazing.
She's
She's
an
amazing.
absolute legend.
Yeah, I love her.
But
Um,
yeah, for the video game movies, yeah, I think we've deviated off the topic. Let's bring it back to Revenants because like video game
yeah,
movies, this
yeah,
goes down a dark path. Okay,
yeah,
back to
definitely.
Revenants. So who's your favorite
Okay,
then
so
of all?
I'm gonna say Scorpion for this because Mortal Kombat is timeless and it was my first fighting game, and
Yeah, no, I can get that.
like that, and like plus like the backstory, the story they managed to weave in there out of never not having a story in the first place is awesome. It's awesome, and it's awesome.
Especially
It's just awesome.
if you go through 9, 10, and 11, where they kind of like they rebooted the series and started from the start again. Like
Yeah,
that's an incredible. And one thing you have to give Mortal Kombat, like I know there's a lot of people don't like them. They don't like the way NetherRealm's gone. They don't like this. I think they've made some questionable choices too. But damn, man, have they figured out how to put story into a fighting game?
yeah,
Like
and
the
it's
way
really
they do it with
surprising.
these ones and with Injustice, where it's like cutscene fight, cutscene fight. So you're literally playing a 90s action movie. Like
Yeah,
they're incredible. It's like, yes, that's how you do story in a fighting game. That's incredible. Love it.
yeah. I think it's so weird that fighting games have like stories now, and the Injustice comics. Have you read the Injustice comics or like
I
browsed
only
at them
got
or
to
whatever?
skim some of them. I didn't get to read through them
Okay,
properly.
if you get a chance to find it online or something,
Mhm.
if you get a chance to read the Injustice comics, they managed the artists and the writing team for the Injustice comic book series managed to pull something out of their ass that is just surprisingly, oh, this was a fighting game and now it's some deep lore that
Oh,
even
that's
though it's like
cool.
dark evil Superman stuff, that like a lot of people have issues with, like, yo, Superman's evil. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
so
but it's an
good,
alternate
and that they
universe,
managed
so
to
they're
do
allowed to
something
do
with it.
that.
Yeah, it's
DC do
so
that, so it's okay.
surprisingly good, and I wish they would do that for Mortal Kombat. Like give Mortal Kombat like a really good dedicated comic series or something where it
There
fleshes all
was
this
one
stuff out
years
even
ago.
more. There was
There
one
was
years ago, but
years ago, but I don't think is that. I don't think
I
that
would even
even.
root for another Mortal Kombat television series. Do you remember the mini series, the web series for Mortal Kombat that kind of
Yes, that would
kickstarted the
have
movie
been
that we got now?
great.
Oh man, I want another one. I want another one. Everyone, please go watch the Mortal Kombat web series.
Yeah, I
It's
knew
like
there
10
was a short
episodes.
run
It's like
one. There's
20 minutes
actually a short one
long.
by DC.
Yeah, there might be.
Yeah.
For the Injustice comics, there is. It's like 5 issues or
Hmm.
something. Really short. But yeah, I would love another Mortal Kombat like series or something. Give me something, you know.
It'd be great. I'm just looking at this one here. There was really old Midway comics back in the day for Mortal
Mm-hmm.
Kombat, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
after DC is after doing like a rehash of the story for like the modern Mortal Kombat X, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
like that, but more please.
Yeah. Always. Always more. Always more. You
All right
can't
then,
you can
let's
never have
go.
too much.
We will move from that one and the other big question then on this one. Now we're going to have to distinguish these and have them separate. The first one is who's your favorite video game vampire?
Okay. So I think I answered this last time and it was
Yep.
definitely Rain. Definitely Rain, because killing Nazis, in like tight leather is always an awesome thing. But of course, I mean, Kane. Kane is always, you can never go wrong with Legacy of Kane.
Then, if we jump from that, who would be your favorite movie, TV show slash comic book, other medium vampire?
Other
Just because
media
there's so
vampire.
many.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is. Oof.
screen vampire, we'll call them.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, first answer is going to be, oh shit, I just had it in my head. It was a movie with Ethan Hawke. DayBreakers?
Daybreakers?
I
You sure?
think Ethan Hawke. I think it's called DayBreakers, vampire movie. Let me Google this really quickly. DayBreakers. Yeah. It was a fantastic vampire film directed by the Spearg brothers. Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Sam Neill, loaded cast, and the way that they
Okay,
handled
yeah.
like vampire society and just vampires in general is really, really, really good.
I've
It's
seen
like
this,
there's
but I
a
don't recall the name. They might have changed the name in
Yeah,
Europe
I
or
think they
something.
did, but the version I remember is Daybreakers. It might have been one of those things where it's like it's called something else and then they release it and they rechange the name and then they do another name change. It's just gone over all these things. But it's Daybreakers with Ethan Hawke. I think those are probably fucking awesome vampires, like movie vampires. because the way they handle it, oddly enough, is with a plague. There was a plague and it turned everyone into vampires, and then they developed this whole Nazi-ish like society, and the way that Ethan Hawke as like a private vampire detective or something handles it, and his evolution as a character is really good, and it's such a good movie. Or Underworld. I love the Underworld movies as well. I think
Underworld's just weird, cheesy fun. Like
Yes.
people hate on them, and I'm like, well, it's not a serious vampire movie, but keep in mind, not serious.
Yeah. Okay,
Serious.
so
Like
what's a
it's got a
serious vampire
serious
movie?
tone, but it's not serious. In that
Yeah.
regard, like it's the same way as I've this weird love in my heart for that Van Helsing movie. You know, the one
Oh
with
yeah, I love the Van
Hugh
Helsing movie
Jackman,
with
because like
yes.
it's objectively it's terrible, but it's really good. I always liked it. They're like, oh, but it's not Van Helsing. I'm like, dude, this is the closest we're going to get to a Castlevania movie.
Pretty
Like, this is
much.
awesome until they brought out the awesome Netflix series. But yeah, that was class. I love that.
Yeah.
Just it's so cheesy and on the nose with this stuff. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I love the Van Helsing movie. That's a great movie. And I just remembered, have you seen Only Lovers Left Alive with
No, I
Tom
haven't.
Hiddleston? Okay, great indie film. Tom Hiddleston, um, Balls. Balls. I forgot her name. Only Lovers Left Alive. Tilda Swinton. Tom Hiddleston, and they play a pair of vampires that are, hundreds of years old.
This
It's got
looks
John
really good.
Hurt.
How did I
It's
manage to
super
miss
good.
this?
Super good. Only Lovers Left Alive. And it's just their life. It's a really slow burn of a film. One of them is a musician and the other one is like a poet or whatever, so they're creatives. But it's just them dealing with the modern day. Like, can you drink this person's blood without getting a blood test or whatever, because they might have AIDS, and that might, infect them, and they might get AIDS and they're vampires, like, or, they might have like a blood disease, and like what's going on. It's this really great in-depth look on another version of vampires, and what if, almost like a realistic take, like what if vampires have to drink blood, like a blood type that is their blood type? What if vampires have to drink only healthy blood from like
There's
virgins or whatever because they're sexually transmitted diseases? All this kind of stuff.
You make a valid point there. There's a really cool one that I watched. It's a French series. It's on Netflix called Vampires. Uh,
Okay.
it's just incredible. Here, I'll link it to you.
Yeah.
Of course, the Netflix one wouldn't be right, but it's it's just really good. I know some people have difficulty because they don't like watching anything that has subtitles, but like this is Vampire the Masquerade made into a movie or TV
Yeah.
show. It's really visceral. It's about this young one that lives in Paris and her
Ooh.
family are vampires, and they're just like average normal like French people, but they're immigrants and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of half involved with like this society of vampires and thing, but they're all kind of like middle lower class people, so they kind of have to be
Yeah.
careful with like reality as well as like being a vampire. For example, like the brother and sister work in an abattoir, so that's how they get blood like regularly.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And that's a standard thing because they're inside in a basement in Paris because that's where an abattoir would be, you know? So they're out of
Mm.
the sunlight and all and like blending in with society. Like the description here, a Parisian teenager who is half of human, half vampire grapples with her emerging powers and turmoil as she is persuaded by a secret vampire community. It's just really good because it's very kind of gritty, realistic style rather than what you get with a lot of American stuff with like oh God, what was that terrible show? I remember seeing one on Netflix that it's basically like Saved by the Bell, but it's vampires.
Oh
It's not even
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like
Balls.
oh
I know what you're
why?
talking about.
Yeah, you know
I know
what
what
I
you're
mean.
talking about.
But
Yeah.
like, I don't like that. This is like grotty and realistic. Because like, there's parts of where they're poor and they see other people suffering, and just it deals with the actual crap world around it as well as the fact that these people are different. But then it shows, well, actually, they're not that different because they're suffering all the same crap that the rest of us suffer because the world sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
not
just
just
really
blood.
well done.
I also really love What We Do in the Shadows. I think
Oh,
everyone should
oh,
watch What We Do in
classic.
the Shadows.
The
Watch the movie,
movie
watch the
and the
TV
series.
series. It's so
Oh, that's
good.
great.
It's so good. A friend of mine started watching it recently also, and they're like texting me and stuff while they're watching it. And they're like, I haven't laughed this hard in a long, long time. It is
I just
that
think
funny.
the way they've done it, like, okay, first off, I'm not even going to mention the movie because like that's just great. If you haven't seen it, you need to just
Yes.
go watch it. I'm not even going to mention
Um,
just go watch it. But for
yeah.
the TV series, the dude that's the psychic vampire, oh my God,
Yes.
that's
Oh, it's so
brilliant.
good. I love it. I love it. Damn, there
They
was also a
invite him
spin-off
to the
series. There's
meetings.
two. There was the What We Do in the Shadows TV series on FX.
Hmm.
You can find it online also.
Hmm.
Um,
Actually, it's on
and
Prime, I think.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And damn it, there was another one with the two cops in the movie. They also got their own spin-off series or whatever. Um, like the two bumbling cops in the What We Do in the Shadows movie who just keep
Yeah.
stumbling in on the vampires doing their bullshit. And I think it was really short-lived, only like 2 seasons or something. But it's also a really good, hilarious cop drama. Almost like that cop series from the 80s with the dude who does the R2D2 sound effects, Police Academy. Imagine like the
Oh
Police
yeah.
Academy series, yeah, with supernatural crap, and you just have idiot cops who are like, "Oh, okay, a mummy, whatever, this is nothing," and they just keep stumbling upon dumb shit. It's
I
fucking
I
amazing.
just keep thinking, like, for what we do in the shadows, can someone just like load a dumb truck of money and throw it at Taika Waititi? It's like this is your job now. You
Yeah,
make this show. You make
yeah.
this movie. Like this is this. Oh man, because it was just
Wellington Paranormal is the other spin-off of What We Do in the Shadows
Wellington
with the cops.
Paranormal. Oh, I
Wellington
need to.
Paranormal.
Thank you. I will check that
started
out.
in started in 2014. They're filming a fourth season now in 2021. Okay, so it's gone on longer than I thought. So right now there's three seasons, 19 episodes so far. Wellington Paranormal, What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, and What We Do in the Shadows, the FX TV series. Highly recommend everybody checking that off. Yes, Takai Waititi is still behind all this stuff. He's still the creative visionary behind all
'Cause he's a
this.
legend. That guy has a sense.
Yeah,
That guy gets like, even though I think he's Australian or from New Zealand.
something like that.
Where's Taika from? Okay, this is where I start clicking up. Um, yeah, he's from New Zealand. He has that old 70s, 80s British sense of humor.
Yes.
That's like witty banter and complete slapstick comedy. That is just incredible. I love it.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it's
I think
just
it's
amazing.
great. He's emerged out of nowhere and made a name for himself in a short period of time, and
You
it's
notice there's
just
something
I
about
cannot
those
wait.
Aussies and New Zealanders because wasn't there
Yeah,
another guy that done horror comedy from New Zealand?
I believe so. And
Yeah,
then
I
he
think
went
he
on to
went
become
on
one
to
of the
make Lord of the Rings.
yeah, he went on to become one
And
of the
Taika
biggest
went on
directors
to make
ever.
Thor and the
That's
Suicide Squad.
insane. I still can't believe he did Thor. I still can't believe that, and it's awesome. It's all so awesome. Really great.
I
Really
just
great.
think it's like, because I've heard there's some stuff lately, people are getting kind of hating on Taika. I'm like, no, let him do what he wants. This guy
Yeah.
he has earned his cred over and over. Just let him do whatever he wants. Just give him
Yeah.
money. If Taika comes into the studio, I have an idea. Okay, you do it. We'll give you the cash. Just do it.
Yeah. Just
Because he's
shut
come up
up
with some amazing.
and let him do his thing. Shut up and let him do his thing.
Exactly. So,
No need for you to no need for you guys to, rain on his parade, okay? He's
so
fantastic.
did you settle on who your favorite screen vampire was?
Um I'm gonna, it might have to be a throwback a bit with the interview with the vampire. Tom Cruise as
Oh
Lestat
yeah.
and Brad Pitt as Louis, I think are the best emo vampires ever. Like
They
it's just so
they
good.
they were the blueprint for the upper class vampire ever since.
Mhm.
I think they
Mhm.
set the stage because like Dracula is a unique character all unto himself. So Dracula, but he was the nobleman. These guys weren't necessarily that, but through age and wisdom and power, they just became noblemen and set the standard that yes, all vampires are rich, upper crusty. They kind
Yeah.
of, I
Yeah.
love it.
I do love that. And then I think, okay, if I really had to nail it down, I'm gonna give it to actually Dracula from the Coppola movie with Gary
Yeah,
Oldman, because that is just, I've
because
watched that movie more times than I can count.
yeah,
It's
same.
such a fit. Oh my God. Please, everybody watch the Coppola Dracula movie. It's been remastered a billion times. Watch it. Just
There's
watch it.
one
Enjoy
thing with
it.
Coppola's one, right? You know when he's in London as a
Yeah.
young, what did he call himself? He called himself a different name.
Vlad.
No, he actually gave himself a different name when he was
Oh,
talking to him, like Edward, or so he gave himself something silly. But the fact that that guy looked goth as shit, rocking a powder blue suit from head to toe and a top hat
yeah.
and
Oh,
shades,
yeah.
but he still looked goth as shit. Like that,
I'm the
like
original Gothic vampire.
so it just goes to show it's not the man that makes the suit, it's the suit that makes the man. Dracula could have rocked
hmm
anything and it would look awesome. Although
Yeah.
speaking of things that looked awesome but may or may not be, do you ever think Mobius is getting released? Or Morbius?
I don't know. It's been, when did they reveal that thing? Like 2 years ago now? 3 years ago? Before this whole pandemic thing like popped off?
I don't know, man.
That looks awesome.
If it
I got to
hasn't
give it to
come
Jared
out
Leto.
yet,
2022. Oh, they delayed it to 2022. Damn. Whole upcoming American superhero film based on Morbius looks fucking rad. I got to admit, I know a lot of people don't like Jared Leto because of his whole Joker performance over, but the dude can fucking act. The guy is a damn good actor, man. And Morbius looks pretty fucking good. I just hope they didn't like delay it and then reshoot bullshit and then ruin the film or ruin the potential of the film that it could have been, you know?
weirdly, I've never had a
Like,
problem with Jared Leto. I just think he's nuts. But like
oh
as an
yeah, no.
actor, like I don't think I've seen him in anything where he's been bad. Like I even liked him in Lord of War with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's a
Remember
great
that
movie
back in
too.
the day? Like he played his
Mm-hmm.
character well. He's just
Space.
nuts. Like he's like in real life, like he's clearly cracked. But you know,
Yeah.
that's not my problem. I don't have to worry about that. Now, that will move us on to our next one then, Calypso. Who is your favorite lich?
I have to look at little pictures you posted because I don't know. Okay.
Undead wizard.
Undead Wizard. Ooh.
Someone tried
Does
to argue with
Arthas?
me.
Okay, you
Yeah,
have a picture
someone
of
tried to
Arthas here.
argue
Is
with me
Arthas a
about that.
lich? I mean, well, he's the Lich King, yeah, but is he a wizard?
That's the one. Someone tried to argue that with me. It's like, oh, well, Arthas isn't actually the Lich King. Like, they call him a Lich King, but he's not actually a Lich. I'm like, Arthas is the body. Do you not remember? Kel'Thuzad was the one that helped Ner'zhul become, like, part of the crown
Mm-hmm.
in the head. So, like, the Lich King is actually a separate entity from Arthas. So there's like three entities in Arthas's body. There's Arthas, there is Ner'zhul, and there is the Lich King, which is its own separate thing. If you read the book, by the way, there's a book, Arthas. It's really well worth it if anyone's into World of
Arthas, my
Warcraft
son.
lore.
Yeah.
Um, it's so technically, yes, he is a lich in that regard. And they're like, oh, but he doesn't have a phylactery. They do. Read the book. It's the helmet, which is why they take off the helmet. And he's like,
Oh, that's
Father.
why they destroyed the fucking helmet and
Yeah.
shit. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played Warcraft or delved into the lore in years, so I'm way behind on my Warcraft lore. I did love the movie though. I loved the World of Warcraft movie.
Oh, poor Doug was robbed, man. There's like
Man,
6
yeah.
hours of that on the editing room floor.
I'm so
That
mad.
should have been so
One day
much
we'll get
better.
a released version. Maybe one day we'll get the, release the actual version of this movie because it's like 4 hours long. It's like I will not rest and I will be incredible. Even whenever, rest in peace, God, knock on wood, that whenever David fucking Lynch dies, Um, and we're like, I really hope that we get the like 4 hour long version of Fire Walk with Me that he originally filmed. And then they had to cut most of it on the damn floor to hit movie theaters and stuff. I hope to God that he releases that one day, or that, you know, they just dig it up from the archives or something and put that out there. Cause I need
I
that. I need the 4 hour
there's
version of Firewalk
there,
with Me.
there was a few problems with Warcraft with the movie. Number one, it was like 8 years too late. Like
Yeah,
they should have let
completely.
it. They should have had it out earlier. Number two, right? Duncan Jones. You know who Duncan Jones is, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Great in his own right. He is a massive Warcraft fan, so he got
Yeah,
everything correct. But then they came in and chopped the crap out of the movie. Like, no, you need to cut this and you need to do that. So we need to start the hashtag release the Jones cut. I
yeah.
want to see the full version. I don't care if I have to sit there for 6 hours, man. You've no idea how much time I spent raiding in World of Warcraft. 6 hours is nothing.
Yeah,
I want
no,
to see
exactly.
that whole story because that would have been amazing. I just think a lot
Like,
of it there was a lot of it if you didn't know the books or the games before that, it gets really confusing because it's like cut, now we're here, cut, now we're here, cut, now this
yeah,
is happening. It's like there was clearly a lot of stuff in between that explained and showed things happening, which would have been amazing. Although, of all the things people downed it for, man, the way the orcs looked, holy crap,
they
they
did a
look
good
great.
job. They did a great fucking job. Like, and I really do love the Warcraft movie. Like, I think the ending, it's a fucking great ending. It sets it up for a sequel that we'll never fucking see, sadly. But like, it is a, if you've never played fucking Warcraft before and you want to play the games or whatever, but you don't want, you know, go back and play the first one, or Warcraft 3 or whatever, and you just want to watch the movie, you can pretty much watch the movie, you know, hit the fan Wikipedia or whatever, and then fill in the gaps that the movie cuts out, and you're good to go. You got all your Warcraft. Like, there's so much love for Warcraft poured into
They
that
had
film.
Ragnar as Anduin Lothar. Like
I thought that was fucking cool, man.
he done
Even though he
that
was
great.
doing the Ragnar voice still, but I thought it was great.
He needs to accept he has been typecast. He will be
Yes.
Ragnar forever. That's not
Oh,
necessarily a bad
completely.
thing. Just,
Yeah.
cast him correctly.
I think I'm not sure. I'm googling his name because I don't want to get it wrong because he's one of my favorite actors ever. Um, Travis Fimmel.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yes,
okay, that's
Fennel.
Ragnar. That's Robert. Travis Fimmel is really good. Ben Foster. I love Ben Foster. I think he's a fantastic actor. He played the fucking evil wizard in that movie.
Medivh.
Yeah, Ben Foster is fucking amazing. If you haven't seen, um, oh God, it's the Dead Space movie without actually being Dead Space. Where is it?
You
Where
say
is
this
it?
like we don't have a computer in front of us so
I
we
know.
can't check
I'm as
this
I'm
thing.
googling it right fucking now. I'm literally on its Wikipedia page looking at all of his movies. I watched this movie a billion times. I don't know why I don't remember the name of it. Ugh. He's in 30 Days of Night, which is a good movie, as the stranger, which is like really, I think, Pandorum. It's called
Pandorum.
Pandorum.
I was gonna say,
Yes, Pandorum is the Dead Space movie without actually being Dead Space. Ben Foster is fantastic. He's one of my favorite actors. He's in Pandorum. Everyone watch Pandorum. It's a great horror film.
it is
Um,
great.
it's really
Funny
great.
part, they
And
they made a Dead Space anime, which I thought was pretty decent.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And then yeah. Oh, I love the 30 Days a Night vampires too. Just derailing for a minute back to vampires. I think they're great also. But I mean, I thought the graphic novel 30 Days a Night was really good. I thought the movie was really good. I met Ben Templesmith once or twice. He's a fantastic, nice guy. Yeah. But yeah, nerdy shit, man. I think back to Arthas, like he's a great character, but I wouldn't consider him a lich really, because
In
if you
the
have to put
traditional sense
in
of
the
Lich.
traditional sense, because you have to like evil wizards or whatever. Yeah. Who are these other liches you have up here? I have no fucking idea who these are in
Top
this
left
picture.
is Kel'Thuzad.
Okay.
That's from World of Warcraft. You'll notice a Warcraft theme going on with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So just pulling it here. Yeah, we had some Calthasad going on. I have I can't remember his name, but that character's from D&D. Uh, We've got Arthas. That the bottom left is the standard archetype for the D&D Lich. Let's see, I'll pull
Hmm.
him up here. Uh,
And then we have the Lich from Deadhaus, and then these other two. They look like Warcraft guys also.
that is another version of Kel'Thuzad. He is an actual Lich by the definition of Lich.
Yeah.
And the next one is the one from Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm trying to get the name for here, and it's not coming
Hmm.
up. Uh, Okay, that one in the middle is from Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. What was the
Okay.
character's name? You can place. There's a name for it. I can't find it here. Like there was a lot more. That's the Lich polymorph, but it's based on a particular character in Elder Scrolls. It's a
Hmm.
Dread Lich. Mazaluhad. It's one of the main.
Mazaluhad. That is a name.
It's one of the particular main characters. I didn't go down that quest line apparently,
Yeah.
although it's quite difficult to do that in ESO. Like there is a lot.
I am Mazaluhad.
I honestly thought I would actually have more of a struggle finding liches and whites online when I was looking up these character ones, but there's a surprising amount.
Yeah.
Like every
I
game
mean,
has
they're
them. They're not all necessarily named, but there's like
yeah.
quite a lot of them. Here, do you want to know a funny one? Do you know who technically is also a lich?
Who
The Skeksis.
are they?
They would meet the
Uh
criteria. They preternaturally prolong their life beyond death using the magical souls of other beings.
oh, you're right. Oh man, have you watched the Dark Crystal like origin thing on
Yeah.
Netflix? So good. I loved it.
It's
And then
just
they
that
cancel it.
took too much money, man. That was like I admire what they did. It was a testament to the craft. I think puppetry should be used far more often and stuff because they age far better. Like you take a look at Labyrinth or Dark Crystal, like
Yeah.
and then take any other movie from back in that time period. There's no comparison. They
Oh no, no,
still
not none
stand up today.
whatsoever. None whatsoever. Which
And
oh man, I would love I think if I recall the baby from Labyrinth grew up to actually make a Jim Henson style like puppet movie a couple of years ago. I'll Google it now. Obviously, baby from Labyrinth.
just
Grew
go
up to make
Labyrinth cast and go from there.
yeah, and he did his
Oh, his
own
name's
like
Toby Froud.
Toby Froud. Okay,
Yep.
real yeah, and he went to make a Jim Henson style movie. And
He was that
I think
Yama
it was like
song.
really, yeah, it was really like
Yama's song
indie.
March of the Hollows.
Box Trolls, Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings, Lessons Learned, is what it was called.
Lessons
And
learned.
oh,
He has one here called March of the Hollows. It's called Yama's song March of the Hollows. That looks very dark
that
crystal.
might be, yeah, that might be it as that might be another thing as well. But
Oh,
yeah, he's
lessons
carved out a
learned.
good career for himself too.
Oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
That's a different one. No, this is the lessons learned is a different one. That
Uh,
looks really cool.
yeah, dude is awesome, and he's bringing back like fucking puppetry and stuff. I love it. I love it. I think there's not enough
Don't you love that? What would you know
credit.
about making movies? I was in Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Were you in
exactly.
Labyrinth? I was the baby. And I was that baby.
I was that baby. It was me. Shit. Shit.
That guy, yeah, that's great, man. That's definitely
Yeah,
needs to be
man. I
checking out.
definitely recommend checking out those movies. The other thing I guess is okay, I got an answer for you. One of my favorite fucking liches is have you watched TIGTONE?
No.
Okay, there's an animated series. The first episode is on YouTube. It's free. The rest of it you can find online, or it's on HBO Max, and it's called
Big Tone.
TIGTONE. TIGTONE.
Okay.
It's what if there was a Renaissance painting, but with really uncanny valley animation
Yeah,
applied to it.
this looks like some kind of weird late 90s FMV
It's
game.
weird as fuck, dude. It's so fucking weird. But there's a lich that shows up in that show. There's a lich that shows up in that show as a main villain. And it's just so bonkers that they've got to be one of my favorite liches or just villains in history ever. I love it that their backstory or whatever is something dumb as hell. Like, yes, I use this blood and blah 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 and prolonging my life, and then TIGTONE's like, okay. Or there's another character that's an assassin in TIGTONE, and they're like, yes, I am half scorpion, and my origin story is that my father mated with his own shadow when I was born, and it doesn't make any fucking sense, but it is fantastic. I highly recommend watching TIGTONE. It's a parody on all fantasy, Lord of the Rings, fantasy video games, Dungeons and Dragons, shit like that. It's amazing. When he uses medium health potions or whatever, he's literally like, I need a medium health potion, or I need a large health potion. It's so bizarre. It is so bizarre. And oh my God, it's amazing. TIGTONE will be one of your favorite fantasy things ever once you watch it. I highly recommend it.
I will be checking that.
You gotta watch it, dude. You and everyone else out there listening to this, go watch TIGTONE. Find it however you may necessary to find it. But yeah, TIGTONE. Watch it.
I just remember a terrible show I seen years ago. I don't think many people outside the States even know what it was. Kröd Mändoon and the Flaming Sword of Fire.
Oh, I loved Kröd Mändoon. Yes. I finally watched it a couple years ago. That was a fucking hilarious, stupid show.
That was brilliant. That was some excellently terrible, just for anyone watching, you're going, oh, but this looks crap. It's supposed to be. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to be bad. It's the best kind of bad. It's so bad, it's good bad.
Yeah, it's one of those, I just think it's weird where people take it like the older stuff and rejigger it to be funny, because it's like your man from Little Britain's in it, Matt Lucas. And oh yeah, I forgot Kevin Hart was the wizard in it. Holy crap.
Yes. Yeah, he was the failed wizard. Oh man.
That was excellent. But you take that you take that spin versus that Dungeons and Dragons commercial from South America.
Yeah.
Didn't I show you that recently, or you showed me that?
I think you may have shown me it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's like that old 80s cartoon for Dungeons and Dragons with the Dungeon Master and stuff like that. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They actually made an ad. I think it's for Renault from Brazil or something, and they redid that cartoon.
That's awesome.
And it was just brilliant. It's got Venger and Tiamat and everything in it. And it's like, we get crap commercials over here. It's like, you compare it to that, it's like, holy crap. But yeah, that's another one. Go watch Kröd Mändoon. That was just great.
Yeah.
It was one of those so terrible, and you'll watch it really quick because there's only 6 or 7 episodes. It was just one of those, I think it was was it Comedy Central? Who done it up?
I think so. It was Comedy Central or one of those other.
There's a genre called comedy sword and sorcery.
Oh man. God, there's a great bit in that, and I think there's a Cyclops, and he invites them into his cave, and he's like, I'm a Biclops.
Yeah. He has them all in the hot tub and shit.
Yeah. Both of you get in this hot tub. Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
So, now that we got your lich, who's your favorite white? Now, for anyone listening, just to clarify, we're going by white in the standard Deadhaus Sonata universe. So by that, it would be a construct. Think Frankenstein's monster, a reanimated undead that isn't necessarily completely human-shaped. I think that'd be the best description.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's see who you recognize from the picture.
Okay, all I got from this is that looks like the bottom right picture corner looks like King Solomon's cave or something. Something ancient, who's the artist? Famous 18th century artist or sketcher. I don't know. But I mean, you got the Deadhaus White right there. I want to say that skull thing in the middle is fucking. It looks like death.
That's actually from
from
the Divine Comedy, by the way.
Divine Comedy. Okay. The middle bottom one looks like death from Darksiders, but I'm guessing that's Eddie from Iron Maiden. Like fan art of Eddie. Would Eddie be a white? And then I have no idea who the rest are.
Yeah, he is from Darkstalkers.
Okay.
You're getting closer.
I don't know. Just give me the answers, man. Just give me the answers. The top right one looks like it's from like Arx Fatalis or some other 90s like video game. Yeah.
Really?
What are they? Yeah. What's...
Okay, well, you're close. I think it's Rex or whatever his name is, but I know him as Lord Raptor from Darkstalkers or Darksiders, depending on what way you put it. They have him listed here as Zabel. I just remember him as Lord Raptor. The top left is just a generic one I got off the internet. Right is actually Spoons from The Witcher 3.
Oh, I haven't got that far from in Witcher 3. I did reinstall it, and I'm going to be streaming that tonight.
You might not even find him, but
I might not even find him.
He is an actual white in The Witcher 3, and his name is Spoons. Can you guess why?
Because he died. He has spoons. Is he covered in spoons?
Yep, and he collects spoons, and his lair is full of spoons, and he loves spoons. I think it's a weird joke on salad fingers.
Oh yeah, that might be it.
And bottom left is Patchwork from World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay, another Warcraft.
But his name's Patchwork, as in Patchwerk.
Figured.
Patchwork.
Spoons, huh? I guess. Well, I mean, I don't even think I'm that far in Witcher 3. I'm literally, I don't even remember what I did last time. There's a race. I did the race or whatever.
Which one?
Like a race with some uppity rich dude, and he was like, "Oh, you're going to race?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, I'll race." Or something.
Did you just arrive in Novigrad?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I'm literally like 40 hours in, and I haven't done jack
like
shit
10
in that
races
fucking
in the game, but you tell me.
Yeah, no, I haven't done jack fucking shit in Witcher 3.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no. Okay, so my favorite white, I guess, fuck, I had an answer, but wouldn't know if you would consider him a white or consider it a white. Damn it. I Googled it. Oh, fuck. It slipped my mind. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, the Deadhaus. The Deadhaus white. It's like the weird abomination Frankenstein monster thing. Oh, hold on. It's coming back to me, I think. Tied up bodies. Ooh, okay. I'm going to give it to Lovecraft, and not necessarily a thing, but I'm going to give it to Herbert West. And
Reanimator.
His corpses that he reanimates in Reanimator, because they like occasionally transform into like hideous fucking monsters, and they're sewn together like Frankenstein monsters, and they're parodies on that. And yeah, I'm gonna give it to the monsters that Herbert West reanimates, because I mean, does he put the soul back in? Did the soul ever leave? Is it just a physical thing? Like, whole bunch of other ways to talk about that and debate about it.
I think my one would have to be, I think his name is Adam. I'm just checking it up here. It's the Frankenstein's monster character from Penny Dreadful, referred to as the creature.
Yeah.
John Clare.
Yeah. That was such a good show. Penny Dreadful was so good.
Yeah, it says John Clare. I think he took his name, or is that the actor?
I think
because it's been a long time since I've seen it. I think he was one of my favorite portrayals, obviously alongside a particular one. Do you remember who played it in Mary Shelley's?
Oh yeah, fuck. I can't remember his name anymore. Oh my god, big actor, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
His
Al
name is
Pacino.
Bobby. Ooh, Bobby De Niro.
Robert De Niro. I was gonna say Al Pacino, and that's like, what if you had Al Pacino as Frankenstein? He's like, oh, hey, I'm Frankenstein's monster. I'm like,
And do you want to know the funny part? Do you know who directed that movie?
wasn't that Kenneth Branagh,
Yep.
who was also Dr. Victor Frankenstein?
Yep.
Frankenstein.
You
Mel
take a
Brooks.
look. Brooks, yeah.
Mel Brooks is fucking young Frankenstein. That's a good Frankenstein too.
When you take a look at Branagh's friggin' like work,
resume,
his body of work and all, it's incredible. Like even just take out actor, just as a director,
oh yeah,
like holy cow. You take a look, like he done Frankenstein, and then we go up. What is he like? What's it a few years later? Thor.
yeah, yeah. Fucking Thor, man.
How is the guy that done Hamlet doing Thor?
But I mean, he made it all Shakespearean. He made Thor all Shakespearean or whatever, which isn't a bad thing. I loved his Thor, and I love his Hamlet. It's weird. When I was growing up, I hated Shakespeare, and then I got into theater and did all that kind of stuff. And then I loved Shakespeare now, and I've analyzed it, blah, 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 blah.
You don't appreciate Shakespeare until you go through your goth phase, you know?
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I again, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the one by Branagh, definitely on the same. Well, I was just going to say, yeah, it was produced by Coppola as well, wasn't it? Yeah, because he was the one that done the, like, it's just, to think they wanted to go through and make a Dark World thing the same way as they done with the MCU. And to think years ago, if done right, it could have been done properly, where they continued on with Dracula, Frankenstein. The Wolfman, that was what's his name? Wasn't it?
Like the recent Wolfman from a couple of years ago?
No, the one that would have been around that time. Not the Benicio del Toro one. This one here, Anthony Hopkins. No, I'm looking for an older one.
Wolfman. I mean, the only Wolfman I really know is like Lon Chaney and Lon Chaney Jr. From like the classic 40s Universal monster movies.
Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking of The Wolf.
Oh.
With Nicholson.
Oh,
Jack
yeah.
Nicholson.
I forgot he did a werewolf movie. Oh, Jesus. It starts off all right, and then it just gets bonkers.
It's like, think about it. You could have had De Niro and Nicholson.
Yeah. Oh, geez. As a whole Hollywood monster thing. You could have had Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could have done Monster Mash again. And, what was that monster movie where they were?
I know technically we're going the wrong direction, but we could have had Liam Neeson. Wasn't he like, not the Invisible Man? He was Dark Man or something?
He was Dark Man. Monster Squad. They could have done another Monster Squad with like De Niro and Gary Oldman and Jack Nicholson as like the Wolf Man. And oh my God.
When are we getting that remake?
The Monster Squad?
I want
if
that
the Dark
remake.
Universe, if the Universal Dark Universe thing kicked off and didn't bomb with fucking Tom Cruise's The Mummy, I think it would have been a thing again. And they would have done it. Oh my God.
We need to get the Monster Squad, and then since they're going to remake this anyway and ruin it, team them up with the Lost Boys, the guys at the Lost Boys.
Are they remaking Lost Boys?
I've heard that. I don't know how true it is, but apparently that's going to be remade. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
They got it right the first time. Leave it alone.
Yeah. One thing I hated about this town is all the damn vampires. Oh, man. Lost Boys is such a good movie.
You can picture that with the guys from the Monster Squad teaming up with the guys going to fight their older brother with the vampire
man.
hunters.
And you could even bring back shit. I forgot his name already. Who's the head vampire in fucking Lost Boys?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Was it Kiefer Sutherland? Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. Bring back Kiefer Sutherland as an older. I don't know. He comes back from the grave somehow.
Well, sometimes they come back, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, Dracula, perfect example. I am not dead yet. I will be dead this time, though.
Well, like
Blah, blah,
Stephen
blah.
King managed to make his own consistent internal universe with all his books over the years. People don't realize that they're all connected. So, like,
Yeah, they're very
we can have.
loosely connected, but they're still connected. I wish the Dark Tower did better, or that they did a different version of the Dark Tower. I think some things you just need to turn to TV series. Why did you do a movie? Why not turn the Dark Tower into a long fucking TV series? Game of Thrones that shit up, and don't ruin it with the last season.
They keep wanting to do this thing, you see, where it's acceptable to kids because they think that makes the most money. And then they got really angry, even though they made a ton of money out of it, with Deadpool. Because they're like, oh, these movies don't make money. Actually, they do. Here's your proof. They make quite a lot of money. You decided they don't make money because you want to merchandise the toys. But you know something? Not everything is a George Lucas idea.
Yeah.
You don't need, like, you can make money off the movie. You don't need to make a million toys of it. Although, here's a secret. Grown-ups buy them too. That's the funny part. They think they can't merchandise it. Like, most action figures nowadays, I can promise you, are bought by dudes in their 20s and 30s. They're not bought by...
I just found my collection of old Shadow figures in my garage. I just found my old collection that I had of them when I was a kid. So it's like, I got to finish this collection now, and I'm in my 30s. Like, time to eBay it up, baby. Like, I wish that movies, or some movies, weren't made to just sell toys. Like...
Yeah, do you ever remember they done that other movie as well, like in the same vein as a Monster Squad, called Little Monsters?
I don't remember that. I am Googling it now, though.
Got Fred Savage in it. I remember watching this as a kid. It's like about monsters that live under the bed and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing things like this, but I never actually watched this movie. There was an animated version... or an animated something similar to this. Little Monsters. God. I think.
Wait a minute. Maurice was played by Howie Mandel? Really?
Really? That's weird.
I did not know that. That's weird. That's a that's a side swipe for me. Like, holy crap.
I'm not thinking. Oh no, it's not Little Monsters I'm thinking of. It's Real Monsters is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Although you want animated undead, BeetleJuice.
Yes, BeetleJuice was such a good cartoon show and a good movie, and they've been trying to get a sequel off the ground for literally fucking decades.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't. I've heard what Kevin Smith says. Leave it alone.
Yeah, just
like, didn't we say all we needed to say in the first one? Must we go tropical?
Yeah. Speaking of,
but if you're not going to get Keating, there's no point. There's really no point.
Exactly.
Make up a new
is
character.
The actual theme. BeetleJuice is the theme for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights this year, 2021, which will be interesting.
If they want to bring back something, they need to bring back Tales from the Crypt.
They did. It's not Tales of the Crypt. I believe it's a reboot called Creepshow, and it's on.
That was a reboot of Creepshow. There was a show called Creepshow as well. Yeah.
I think
there was Creepshow. There was Tales from the Crypt. There was Twilight Zone. There was what was the one before Twilight Zone?
Not Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Crypt. Google.
There was a really old one before the Twilight Zone. There's also Tales from the Dark Side. All sorts of stuff. Basically grown-up versions, which they then distilled down and made Goosebumps and all, which I'm thoroughly fan of. Get kids into the horror early with acceptable stuff, because that's the whole point of it. When you show them the scary stories and they learn how to deal with the horror, the real world doesn't seem as scary.
Ooh, canceled reboots. Yes, they were trying to get a Tales from the Crypt reboot thing going a couple years ago, but inevitably didn't fall through.
Did you ever watch the cartoon of Tales from the Crypt?
I didn't even know there was a cartoon of Tales from the Crypt. But apparently there was...
Tales of the Crypt Keeper. Google it.
Ooh, apparently there was a radio series in the early 2000s because the reruns... I remember watching the reruns when they were doing the reruns in the late 90s.
Just Google Tales of the Crypt Keeper.
That is something you should not... Yeah, that is something you should not watch as a fucking kid. Some of that shit is nightmares. Oh my god, like the episode, the freakiest fucking episode of Tales from the Crypt that I remember is there was like a taxidermist or something, and then the ending was the dude was taxidermied, and you see all of it, the stitches and stuff, and or the way they handled vampires on Tales from the Crypt was bonkers as shit too. I would get in trouble for watching Tales from the Crypt.
But look, there was a cartoon.
My mom would walk in.
And it was the same dude, I think, that voiced
That's
it.
so weird that there was a freaking cartoon Tales from the Crypt, and it was
great,
highly adult, a highly adult series on HBO. But hey, everything's for the kids, you know. Crypt Keeper was a funny character.
You're talking to the guy that, like, I had to do some real deep meditation years ago to try to figure out what was the first horror movie I ever saw. And I remember it was a VHS tape that was left in my house carelessly by my parents at one point. And I remember one evening where they were working, my mother must have been in the kitchen, my father was working, whatever. And we had like a living room, and then it was like the dining room was separate, so you could like close over the doors. There'd be a partition for you Americans. And like I put the tape in, and it was from a video store, and it was one of those ones where you had to push down, so I had to be really careful to not make the big loud click when you put it down in.
Oh yeah,
And I had it down low, and I was watching. I mustn't have been more than maybe 5 or 6. I was very young, and I watched it, and it was Ghoulies.
Ghoulies.
Do you remember Ghoulies?
You mean like Goonies? Goonies or Ghoulies?
Ghoulies. Ghoulies.
Oh,
it was the monsters that came out of the toilet.
I remember this. I didn't. Oh my god, I remember this.
So that's exactly what you want for a 5-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
5 or 6-year-old watching a movie about monsters that come out of the toilet.
They have puppets. They have the puppets back. They released the puppets. Wow, I remember this. I saw this when I was a little older, whatever.
They're terrible.
Yeah, they're so terrible. This and Puppet Master scared the living shit out of me as a kid.
I loved Puppet Master. I have toys, like life-size toys of Blade and all from Puppet Master. I love those films. Yeah, there might be something wrong with me.
Yeah, maybe.
What, did Puppet Master freak you out as well, did it?
Puppet Master totally freaked me out because fucking, I can't remember their names. I think one of them is like Pinhead or Screwball or whatever, and like he has drills for hands.
Oh no, that's Driller Killer. There's Driller Killer. There's Pinhead. The Pinhead is the guy with the big arms. There's Blade, who is the weird little Nazi dude with the thing arms. There's Jester. There's Leech Woman. I should not be able to remember all of this off the top of my head. And then they started expanding them all later on. So there was like in the next one there was 6-shooter, and they were great.
Puppet Master of what scared the bejesus out of me as a kid, like but I loved those movies because it was a weird mix of, it's obviously for adults, but there's a weird cheeky kid element to it or whatever, you know, that like, you know, close your eyes during these parts, but the puppets are adorable in a weird fucking way.
There's this, you see, this was during that period of time where everything went mini, the mini monsters craze of like the late 80s, early 90s. Because when did Puppet Master come out? Because Puppet Master was near the front of all of this. So Puppet Master, it was 89. So yeah, it would have been the start of the 90s. So we had like Gremlins, we had Critters. Did you ever see Munchies?
No.
That was a 1987 film. Put in Munchies movie there. They were like another one. This is a rival to Gremlins.
Yeah.
And all like that. And there was this whole craze like of there was Puppet Master. There was a version of, it's not called Toys because that's a different movie, but there was one where it was like these demon possessed toys.
Yeah.
As well. And then I think Chucky was about the same time. So this was
Chucky
all kind of this was all feeding into that mini monsters kind of thing. By the way, you should check out
Toys.
You should check out that one, Munchies, by the way. It's just, it's very much a 1987 movie in that beautiful way. It's like, this is terrible, but it's actually kind of great.
10 killer toy movies for Hollywood's Blade Disgusting. Wow, this looks scary as shit. Apparently there's a demonic toys wiki. There's a killer toys wiki So Puppet Master is the first thing that shows up.
Probably either directly or indirectly contributed that with the Emerald Gore Society over the years.
Yeah. List of toys and demonic toys films. Oh my gosh.
There was Silent Night, Deadly Night, Dead Silence, Puppet Master, Dollman, Blood Dolls.
Demonic Toys, Dollman versus Demonic Toys, Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys 2.
Any one of these movies usually spawned about 30 sequels because they were cheap to make. Once you the initial bit done.
They make bank. They make so much money. The horror industry is still, I think, one of the largest
the horror industry is the weird bastard child of Hollywood. None of them want to acknowledge it. They don't want to help it. They don't even want to recognize it exists. But it has been keeping Hollywood afloat for generations. Because Hollywood horror makes bank. Like, that's just a very simple fact. Horror makes bank. Anytime, that's why I'm shocked the last 2 or 3 years. Well, pre-COVID. We'll pretend these years didn't happen because they didn't. Pre-COVID, like the last 2 or 3 years, like there wasn't like Halloween horror movies. Like normally there'd be like 1 or 2 big horror movies for Halloween, and there just wasn't. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? If there's any movies that are guaranteed, like you're remaking loads of crap, why don't you remake actual crap? You know, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Or
which is a fantastic movie, by the way. Everybody watch it.
Another mini monster movie, The Gate or House. I'd love to see them redo House because that's really funny if you put that into modern contexts. Like,
all right, so the killer toy genre in horror films, I'm gonna call it that, started in 1936 with the very first movie here on this list, The Devil Doll. In 1936 was the recorded right now as of
and I'm sure before that in theater,
like Lost Records or whatever,
I'm sure as well, like in theater, this is an old trope, like of the puppet coming to life and killing you. This is probably
some of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes are when the fucking puppet comes to life and starts killing people and shit.
It's one of the oldest tropes, because it's the fear of it's the beginning fear of technology turning against you. It's a beloved item turning on you that you would never suspect.
Yeah. Which kind of spins off, I suppose, into that the rest of the genre of like, The Mirror Eats Your Soul and a bunch of other shit.
And the fact that it's even darker because it's associated with children. When they're toys, it's the whole, you can protect your kids from everything, but can you even protect them against the things they love?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great trope.
Yeah. And then the garage door starts to kill you or something. God. And I think that will be an end to this episode. Don't get killed by your garage doors, ladies and gentlemen.
Lock your valuables and your collectibles up in their unit at night and turn on the alarm, not just to stop people stealing them, but to stop them escaping.
Yes. Be sure to get a nice tight safe to throw all your dolls in there at night so they don't go and murder you. Jesus, some of these images from just looking up killer toys are fucking nightmare fuel. Don't Google this. Do not Google this. People, don't Google this. It's
especially
scary.
if you've that collector's Annabelle doll or that collectible Child's Play Chucky in the corner.
Yep. And with all that said, this has been, I guess, the first official episode of Sanguine Sundays. We're gonna try to keep this on every Sunday, and we usually have our Deadhaus Whispers on Thursdays, sometimes like Friday or the weekend. So I'm Calypso, and as always, you can follow me anywhere and everywhere, and then we have Faceless Mike.
Yes.
Of course, as our other host, you can follow us anywhere and everywhere, and thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in for this one, and we will see you all next Sunday or Thursday this week, perhaps. So
See ya.